During the 1900s, the cotton industry was booming in England and the cotton mills were very busy. Tameside was no different and had lots of large cotton mills producing tons of cotton each day. This film looks at the life of a man that worked his way up from office boy to general manager of a large cotton mill. He tells his story of what it was like to work in the cotton industry. Can you tell me the year that you was born?
28th of June 1924, 28/6/1924.
Whereabouts about in Ashton was it that you were born?
Canterbury Street, 26 Canterbury Street. It's near, it's halfway up to Broad Oak.
Did you have any brothers and sisters?
An elder brother and a younger brother, Tom and William Henry. My eldest brother was on the HMS Nelson, the battleship in the war. He was an artificer, and what he did, he came out on his mate, and of course it took days to get up to Shetlands and Orkney in them days. So when he got up there, his mate said, and my brother, my eldest brother, was a devil for dancing, and he said, come on Tom, there's a dance here at this place. This was on Orkney's. Oh no, he says, we've been travelling 2 days I'm not going. Anyway, he decided to go for half an hour and he met his wife Dorothy.
What were your parents' jobs?
The parents, well, my father was a bus driver on the Ashton Corporation Transport. My father got £2.10 a week for 5 of us. Just imagine on buses. And they had a chip shop at the bottom of Henrietta Street in Ashton. Not many people know this. And she used to come from the mill and then go in chip shop. And my granddad, who was a bugger, he had a piece of wood like that with holes in, and he used to put, nobody could touch money, bloody chippy go in and all like that. And then we used to go home, and then my mother used to look after 5 of us. Hey, how the hell she ever did that, I'll never know. My mother worked Wellington Mills on Whitelands Road, a very big mill, you know. In fact, what they did there, they did opening, spinning and weaving, which was very unusual because everybody had opening frames, but not everybody did spinning, cloth and weaving. And she worked there, and I thought, gee, how the hell did she keep that going? And then eventually just became a housewife and looked after the 3 of us. House to door, Tom, my mother, my father says.
And where was it that you met your wife?
At that little hut up there, I met my wife, Joan. 3 of us went to a whist drive and dance. Hey? Me, Graham Cunliffe and Gordon Neild. And I took Joan home and married her. Graham took Doreen home and married her. And Gordon took Margaret home and married her. And she always said, with a good social life and a good married life. Joan died in 2003. It broke my heart. We were married 58 years. That's just at Buckingham Palace. That's at Nottingham University, where one of Joan's relations was married when they got married. And that's when we were married, when we've been married 25 years, and we were married 58. If you're married 60, you get a telegram from the Queen, and I was very sorry that we did 58.
Would you say your wife would be one of the main reasons why you made such a success of your work?
Oh yes, oh yes. She got me over every style and yes. All my clothes, I used to go to O'Brien's and everything. As I say, I showed her this photograph, didn't I? That there's a paper in there that says that I lived my life without you, and the months turn into years. Time will not heal the heartache, nurse. Stem the flow of tears. No words can tell or express the love, the loss, the emptiness. And I say that every night, without fail.
Can you tell me your wife's career?
My wife was worked at Lupton's Printers on Bentinck Street, Ashton.
Right.
And finished up as the Mr. Lupton split the men and the women up on different jobs. She was a bookbinder, and she went in the RAF WAFs, and when you were in the WAFs, if you were getting married, you could come out. And as soon as I saw her, I could see it now. It's amazing, isn't it? By God. And she looked after me, and I looked after her.
What schools did you attend, and at what age?
St James's branch, and St James's afterwards at 11, St James's Central, all in Ashton, on Union Street and the main road up there. 14 at St James's Central, and I went to Hume Day Continuation School in Manchester. Because of my disability,
Yeah.
they sent me there, and I learned shorthand typing, English and maths. And I loved it. And I was the first lad to ever to beat, I don't want to say that really, but to beat the girls at shorthand and typing. But my mother did that every night, and my father used to play bloody hell. He used to say, I'm going out to the pub, I'm listening what the you are, if you are, you were, if you were, as it were, those who were, as much as all circumstances. Short forms. I loved it.
Can you tell me the year that you got the job, and what was your interview like?
1938. I started at Saxon Mill, Droylsden, as office boy in 1938, and got the job. There was about 50 for it, and when I got the job and looking through the records, lots of my mates had applied for the job. My mother went with me, and he asked me a lot of questions, George Marshall in the boardroom, who I hadn't seen before. He was a great man and a wonderful worker, and he taught me all that. In fact, at 18 he said, Jim, you can go in any place, any mill now, with going to night school and everything, you've cracked it. But because I could do shorthand and typing and none of the others couldn't, I got the job as office boy, and I worked for the most marvellous man, George Marshall, secretary, who wouldn't talk a word about anything else, only work, until you shut the front door of the mill. He was marvellous.
Would you say you were scared of him, your boss, when you first started?
I was hesitant about him, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But was he very, like, if you did your thing, he was alright with you? Or
Yes.
tell you
He made me work all the invoices out on a paper about that size, piece of paper, and the invoices for the customers, you had to work them out, £350 weight at 9 7/16. Hey, 9 7/16, bloody hell. And I used to work these out, and then he'd go up that side, and I had to call it out. Right, Jim, let's see to the invoices now, yeah, right. And I used to call it out, and he said, right, all right, get them typed. So I used to I could do typing as well, you see. Medlock Street now is a load of houses in Droylsden, and there's still that post office at the top, where Mr. Marshall sent me every Thursday for the stamps, the health stamps and the employment stamps. Everybody had 2 books, and there was 300, so there was 600, and I had to go up there, get them stamps, and stick them all on bloody things every day. What a job. And one day he says, what are you looking at, Jim? I said, I'm 2 stamps missing. He said, well, I've told you to take the edges off first and throw them away. Make sure you haven't thrown any away. And I was like this about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He said, hey. I said, what? He said, look on your cuff. And there were the 2 stamps. The stuff there, I must have done.
Do you remember your first day and what it was like?
What it was like?
Yeah, your first
Yes,
day in there.
the main thing I remember about the first day is the smell of the cotton. Even in the office,
Yeah.
you could get that smell of cotton. At 18, I had tears in my eyes when I had to go to Cedar Mill. I started at Saxon Mill in Droylsden, you see, and then it was Lancashire Cotton Corporation. And I moved to Cedar Mill, and then I went to Magnet Mill in Chadderton as assistant secretary. and then I then came back to Ashton to Tudor Mill, which is now the canal there,
Yeah.
and gradually worked my way up as to assistant secretary, salesman, sales manager, general manager, and although I don't want to swank myself, I was the #1 in the company as managers, and I was on a very good salary. And I always remember, I started talking to the man the other day on the phone. He came and said, in those days, the chairman came and he said, Jim, he said, we want you to go to Majestic Mill in Waterhead, it's in a bloody mess, and they've got all new machinery. I said, no, I'm stopping here. And these 220 work people have done me well. I'm very happy here. With all the rooms we made with maple flooring and everything, it was a credit. We got the first mill ever to go into the Health and Safety Award, because you know a mill has dust and all that sort of thing, but my work people were marvellous and it was spotless. And I owe a great deal to them people.
What were the shifts like when you worked in the mills?
Well, the last mill I worked at, where I was general manager, it was 6 till 2, 2 till 10, 10 till 6. But Saxon Mill, the first hour I was at, was just day shift, 8 hours. But of course we went to this 3-shift business.
How many holidays would you have a year? You know, annual leave, what would the...
Yes, well, eventually it would be 5 weeks when I was general manager.
Right.
But coming up to that, you know, you just had a week when you were mill holidays, weeks holidays. You had when I first started.